going to flick through the newspapers to begin
You're going to
with.
flick through, flick through the newspapers. Yeah, we've got Paul Ross and your Sky wife, your screen wife. Your other screen wife.
Yes, my better half.
You've got to put up with him at work and I put up with him at home.
It's a privilege to you, Charlotte, isn't it?
It's just an honour, what can I say?
Listen, Charlotte, I get the raw end of the deal. I get him for more hours than you.
Mr. Paul, we were out to lunch with you last Sunday, and a very nice lunch it was.
Yeah, with Christopher Biggins, the loudest man in the universe. Oh-ho! And Amanda Lamb was there. It was a very lovely lunch.
Did either you or I leave with any stains down our frontage?
We didn't, although I've had a sniff too many of the barmaid's apron, and I spent most of the Sunday afternoon snoring, I have to confess, but no spillage, unlike Her Majesty the Queen, of course.
Yes, now what's happened?
Well, out in the week to celebrate the King of Greece's 70th birthday, she had a nice night to begin with, then apparently the handbag handle snapped off her evening bag, and then as she's saying goodbye to him, she's quite clearly got what I think is chilli pepper juice from the kebabs they obviously had, it was the King of Greece, down the side of her frockage. It's a bit of a shock, really, isn't it?
It was rather unfortunate, yeah, and even more unfortunate that it was spotted and they've got a photograph of it.
And it does look as if, to me, I don't think the Queen could have got it there. It's down her right side. I think it's maybe a clumsy waiter who no doubt will be on the rack in the tower before we know it. But it didn't dampen her spirits because she was there till quite late in West London. And the next morning, which was yesterday morning, she was down in Devon visiting the docks in Plymouth or something.
So, oh, there it is.
There it is.
Oh, dear.
Oh. Normally they circle it, don't they?
Yes.
The circle of shame.
But you know what? I think
that does look like a grease mark.
Good
doesn't it,
for her,
Charlotte?
though, I think, because at the end of the day, she sort of thought, I'm not going to make a fuss, I'll be dignified about this, I'll just pretend I can't see it, and it hasn't happened. And she wasn't there out the back in the toilets, you know, trying to wash it off and under the hand dryer or anything, was she?
Talking of which, I went to an awards ceremony and Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen threw... I was just about to go up and present an award, and Lawrence was telling a fabulous story, as he does, and he flung his arm out and he knocked a whole bottle of water into my lap about 2 minutes before I was due to go out, and I had a satin dress on, which you can imagine soaked up the water. I looked like I'd wet myself. And then I went running to the ladies' loo.
Under the hand dryer?
I'll go under the hand dryer. No, it's one of those posh hotels where they had the linen kind of hand towel.
With the men, I mean, I'm wearing a light suit today, and the worst thing for a chap is you've done what you've got to do, and you go and you're washing your hands, and you turn, the chap comes out and sprays you.
That's your excuse.
And then the next day, I've got to stand up for this. Then you put the dryer on, and you're like that when other people come in. And you say, honestly, I'm just, you know, I'm sorry. Oh, it's a nightmare being a chap.
Yes, and you say to Lawrence, oh, it's not a problem, Lawrence, honestly. Can you imagine if I did that to you, hey?
You'd be...
Must be terrible getting a spillage down your shirt.
It's a family joke with us that every time Eamon goes out, every time he spills something, he goes, oh, how did that happen?
I don't have to go out to do it. Anyway, OK, food stains, that's that. Brits given the award for the worst dressed tourists in Europe. Charlotte, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I have to agree with this one,
Why?
actually.
Do you dress your husband when he goes
embarrassing.
abroad, or does he dress himself?
Well, he does dress himself. He is allowed to make those kind of decisions. But you look around and you see some of the things that people choose to wear on holiday. And I swear, you know, they keep them tucked at the back of the wardrobe, and then they're like, do you know what? The sun is out, we're going on holiday, get the Hawaiian shirts out, get the sandals and the socks. I mean, who would wear sandals and socks as a man? It's just...
British men, mostly.
It's a no-no.
Although without digging up old grievances, I do think by a short head, and they came second in this poll, or joint second with the Americans, I do think it's the Germans who tend to go for the sock and the sandalage. I think British men maybe... I wear stupid baggy shorts and I love a Hawaiian shirt in the summer, and I think it's an excuse if you're a bloke to dress like a toddler when the sun is shining.
Dress like a
toddler.
Oh, toddler.
You just like a little...
something else.
No, I did not say something else, Ruth. Oh, dear, I see what you have to go through now, Eamon. It's terrible. But I think it is mainly... And certainly the American thing, which I cannot get my head around, is the Yanks wear those almost like chino shorts, but they tuck their long shirts into them.
And then
so
they sometimes wear the kind of calf-length white sock with that. Eamon does have Eamon's got two kind of Hawaiian shirts that the kids and I... No, we're trying to remove them. I keep hiding them and he keeps finding them. I haven't been actually brave enough to actually throw them out, Charlotte.
Ruth's worst insult to me is she says, you look like a darts player. That seems to be the most... Is that a bad thing?
That is quite a bad thing.
That's a bad thing. You don't want to look like a darts player.
It's comfy and loose gear, and I think I always say, no, I look like one of the Sopranos, because they wear those big loose shirts. I feel like a gangster. She says I look like Phil the Power
You have to take a tip from the Italian men, apparently, boys.
Well, they do it well,
they can just, you know, they just look casually elegant.
But it's that whole thing where they drape the jacket over the shoulders and they
considered.
And they're just a bunch of jesses, really, if we're being honest.
I would rather see that fact than you with a knotted hanky on your head.
that does appeal to you as a woman, yes. What,
the knotted hanky on the head?
No, the look, the...
Yeah, barefoot, nice kind of loaf or a sandal.
Yeah, a bit more sophisticated.
Bit of linen.
Yeah,
I think I'm never
bit of manly elegance.
I don't, and the French do it as well in the Italian chaps. They wear jeans, but they wear a posh jacket with it.
Oh, I quite
I
like
that.
I like that look. I think that's
quite
different.
like that.
I'm uneasy in that. It's either a suit or jeans.
Now, Paul Ross, are you good at spotting a bargain?
I must say, I think it's a part of a male obsession. Men are the obsessive ones, and we make lists of our favourite films and ideal football teams, and I am a terror in the supermarket for the bog-offs, for the bargains. I drive Jackie mad. I always check the sell-by dates, and she's put something, and I go, and I get one from the back. So I do think men are better at spotting the bargains.
Do you think that? I completely disagree. Yeah. I think that women have got a great inbuilt kind of bargain detector. Although I will say that we do sometimes end up with things that we perhaps don't need, but you can turn around and say, well, do you know what, though? It was a great bargain.
30% off.
Special offer.
I needed those purple suede boots.
And also you can bargain build, can't you? Which, again, my wife's great at. She'll say, well, I bought that dress, and then I bought another dress, and then I bought another dress. So between this, I've got 3 dresses for X amount of money. No, but one of them was £100. That's the one you look at. I don't mind you 2 from Primark for 20 quid. Other stores are available. You can't average out the cost.
Eamon is not a bargain hunter because he can't be bothered. He can't be bothered
Time
to
is
look.
off the
he
essence.
Hasn't got time.
See what I want. There it is. Get it. Job done.
Well, he says to me, I'm penny wise and pound foolish. Do you know that expression?
Yeah, well, I've heard him mention it before. I have to say.
Yeah. He gossips about me at work. He goes to work and gossips about me to
I saw this for £25.50, but I know it's available somewhere else at £23. So she'll spend 2 days, a lot of petrol, car parking expenses, whatever, to save 2 quid.
And I love those buy one, get one free, even if I don't need it. I go, well, it's free.
There's a certain satisfaction, I think, isn't there, from that?
But then we're not getting such a bargain, apparently, in restaurants. So they have all these little clever tricks to make us spend money.
Times are hard in the restaurant trade, in the pub trade, so they're finding different ways to get money out of it. So none of these are illegal, but some of them are a bit cheeky. And I've done this recently. I've been to a few pubs at lunchtime or whatever, go to restaurants, and I've had more of those smaller dishes, almost like tapas. And at the time, I thought, I'll have a bit of that and a bit of that. And they're doing that apparently deliberately. They make them attractive but smaller, so we order more than we might normally, and you end up spending more money because you say, oh, let's get 2 each and 1 more as a side dish, and that can be actually more than just ordering a main course each.
And Charlotte, is it right with the wine list, which I can believe that we do this, we're all too embarrassed to choose the house wine because we think we look a bit like a cheapskate. So we go for the next cheapest, and actually that is often a wine that's cheaper than their house wine.
Yeah, and they'll just bump it up a bit because they know exactly that people will do that. And the other one is that they hand the dessert menu to the ladies. Isn't that terrible, though? Even if you said, oh, no, I don't think we'll have desserts, actually, and they come along and they'll hand it to you and they'll say, well, do you just want to have a look at the dessert menu in case?
We've got a lovely chocolate fondue pudding.
And the one thing I think is borderline cheeky, if not illegal, is apparently some places now, a lot of us ask for tap water now in restaurants because you're worried about the environmental impact of bottling water and the cost, and apparently some places are refilling posh bottles with those stoppers with the water just put through the filter. So it's tap water, but they're charging you £3 a litre for it, which is a bit cheeky.
No, we're talking about bargains, and here's a story. Man sells his sister on auction site. This is eBay. Simon Lloyd, who's 28 from Hertfordshire, he auctioned a date with his single sister Becky on eBay as a surprise for Becky on his 30th birthday. How did he describe her, Paul?
He said, a lively old girl who enjoys a good night out. What she lacks in height, she makes up for in spirit and mouth.
I think that's terrible. Well, the moral of that is never get your brothers to put a description of you out. I know my brothers would put a horrific description of me out. And he didn't exactly sell her, did he, with that description?
It's very funny.
And he did manage to make a bid of just over £1 for us.
So far.
It's obviously a bit of family fun, though, wasn't it? It was a joke.
How would you describe me if you were selling me, darling?
Well, I like this description from Simon. I would describe you as a lively old girl who enjoys a good night out. What she lacks in looks, she makes up for in spirits. That's true. It's quite a lot of spirits.
I'm quite an expensive date on the alcohol stakes.
Just a few glasses of wine, Ruth, and
I'd put alpha male needs night out, as has fiancé who never wants to go anywhere. Big soft underbelly, though, and a pussycat inside. Yeah. And he always pays the bill. Yeah. Yeah, it's a gentleman.
Charlotte, thank you very much indeed. Paul, thank you very much indeed. Just some of the stories in the papers. If you've got anything you want to talk about this morning, any stories that you've spotted and we haven't, you can email us this morning at itv.com.
Can I just warn you, when you do gossip about me to Charlotte, she always tells me. OK, because you forget that that's what girls do.
Well, I'm sure I say nothing, Charlotte, that I wouldn't want reported back.
Couldn't possibly comment,
Couldn't
I'm afraid.
possibly. Couldn't possibly.
Now then, after the break, wake up your teenagers if they're still in bed, because Jason Gardner is here. He's got all the latest stylish looks, and they're what, Eamon? They're kind of...
They're downright dope in the latest threads, basically. That's what you've got. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Downright dope.
Yeah, in it, right,
In it.
after this. Yeah, as well as that.
Yeah, we've got latest gossip from Britain's Got Talent with Stephen Mulhern. He's in it. And last...